Hello, everyone. It's Gator, or Airhead, depending on where you know me from. I decided to call this series Gagatalk, because, if you know me, nickname Gaga, I like putting Gaga in front of a lot of things. I don't know why, it's strange. I'm recording this episode right after my last one because I'm on that talking hot streak. It gets very tiring talking, and I'm in the mood where it's not tiring to talk, so I might as well take advantage of it. There's some things I want to talk about on this episode. Hating on someone for liking something, and I get that it's really easy to do that. And it's really fun to do that. But, have you ever thought that maybe if you try that thing that you're hating on, you might like it? And I think that's where the hate comes from. I kind of think that's where the hate comes from. It's a fear of liking something that looks embarrassing to like. I think the prime example of that is being a furry. I'm not no furry. My one of my friends is, and they're one of the happiest people I know. They're content with their hobby. They're happy with their life, and I think that's important. And I used to hate on furries big time, right? I was just mean to them, and I hated. Looking back on that disgusts me. But, maybe if I try out being a furry, I'd like it. And I think that goes hand in hand for everything. I think the prime example of that is anime. I made a video on TikTok about the switch up on anime and how people went from, hating on it. Because I used to get bullied for liking anime. I'm not gonna lie. I used to get bullied. Dude. I was treated like the scum of the earth for liking anime. And now everyone likes anime. Now everyone likes it. Now everyone's watching Demon Slayer. Everyone's watching One Piece. Where was that support when I was a kid? That low-key affected me, and I think that the switch up on anime was important. I'm glad a lot more people are watching anime. Anime is something everyone should experience. There's some anime I should put y'all on. Intervene. Top 3 anime to expand your horizons whenever it comes to watching anime, alright? Monogatari series, Nichijou, Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. But watch the movie after watching Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, because that's one of my favorite movies ever. Watch those 3. I'm putting you on. I could make a separate episode talking about each of those for an hour. But anyways, back on hating someone for what they like. I used to get bullied for the clothes I wore. I was one of those kids that wore neon, and looking back on it, I would bully me too. I would still bully me too. Kids that wear neon, they deserve to get a swirly. They deserve a swirly. They deserve a wedgie, a swirly, and their lunch money taken. I think bullying those kids is important because I think I have a relatively good fashion sense now. And it low-key affected me mentally because after getting bullied for my clothes so much, I ended up spending a lot of money on fashion. I would be content wearing Adidas track pants and a white t-shirt for the rest of my life. But no, since I got bullied, I'm wearing Stussy baggy $300 jeans, diesel belts, Kid Super button-ups, and diesel watches while wearing Sambas. Just to go out on the town for an hour and come back home and sit in my room and play Valorant and CS all day. But it's I think some bullying is important. I think hating on some people for what they like is important, but also I think that, it doesn't need to be so aggressive. It didn't need to affect me as much as it did. I mean, I'm not going to go into my life and be like, oh, I had such a rough childhood because I got bullied so much. It wasn't bad, right? But it was I was a kid. Teasing got to me, dude. Teasing got to me. I got rage baited. I'll say it. I got rage baited. I fell for the your outfit sucks rage bait. And I took it to heart, so now my outfits don't suck. Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is one of those games that I could play forever. However, the skill ceiling is just so high. I've been playing for about 6 years now. I have 2,000 hours on the game. I still don't know the recoil patterns. The only gun I could say confidently I have the recoil pattern mastered for is the M4A1S, dude. And that gun is the easiest gun to learn the recoil pattern for because it's just an L. A backwards L. But, dude, that game is hard. That's a hard game. Because I play... Dude, what is up with all these loud cars driving past my house? I don't care. I play that, I hop on Valorant, and all of a sudden Valorant's the easiest game ever. I feel like any Valorant pro who isn't trying to rage bait people would confidently say CS is a harder game than Valorant. I'll say it. CS is also a better game than Valorant. The Valorant community, as deplorable as they are, is better though. I'll say that. Valorant has a better community than the CS. CS's anti-cheat has to be fixed. It's one of the worst things ever. Face it, a third party. Face it, a third party platform. That's a hard sentence to say. A third party platform has better anti-cheat than the base game that Valve is making. And let me go on a little tangent here. Valve has to have the biggest fall off in gaming. They used to care so much about every single game they put out. Nowadays, the community is making all the skins. The community is making the maps. The community the community does all the work for Valve, dude. And Valve is making so much money off of it. So much money off of it for no reason. And it's so unfortunate. All right. Just do me one favor, Valve. Bring Lake back. I want Lake back in the game. Lake has to be top 3 maps in any game. I'll say it. Top 3 maps in any game. I don't know the other 2. I can't. No other map comes to mind. Whenever someone's like, good map design, I instantly think of Lake. You know? That's such a fair map. I don't know. I think doing activities in high school is important. This is from a guy who did literally every single activity in high school. And I try and let my memories of high school go because I low-key hated high school. But, you know, I think doing everything really benefited me. And this is a message from me to someone who doesn't really want to be involved in their high school. Just go do it. Go do it. I never thought I would be good at track. Not once in my life did I ever think I'd be good at track. Give it 3 years, I'm jumping 6'5", and I'm the state champion, like 6-time regional champion, 10-time district champion. I'm wiping kids in events that aren't even my main event, you know? I didn't think I would be good at it. I did it, and then I was good at it. I got offers from like 3 D1 schools, 5 D2 schools. Like I was doing good. And that's not even the only activity. I did the academic team. I was part of jazz ensemble. I was a part of like pep band, competition theater, musical theater, like just all these different clubs. I just signed up for every club. I did winter guard. I balanced such a crazy schedule. I was leaving my house at 5 a.m. and I was getting home at like 11 p.m. every day, sometimes 1 a.m. And I would keep doing that. And, you know, it was so much better than going home and hopping on the game. And I'm not going to lie, doing all that stuff tanked my GPA, but in the end, some of my best memories ever are from those activities. Like, I still hate musical theater. I never really enjoyed that in the moment. But, like, looking back on it, doing theater, some of my happiest memories are doing theater. Looking back on it, I really enjoyed Chicago. I really enjoyed Rock of Ages. That was so fun, but like on the low. I hated every second of it, but like, you know, those small moments backstage talking to my friends, the little inside jokes we had, opening night, closing night, it would like those are memories I can't let go of, and I like, you know, it was worth it. Doing everything was worth it. So if you're ever in the situation where you're like, I don't really want to do this, you know, I'd rather spend my time at home. That's sad, man. That's really sad. Go and do it. Go and join a club. Join SCA. You know, get involved with your school, because you're never gonna regret it. You're never gonna regret it. You might have some bad memories, but looking back on it, you know, there were so many worse ways to spend your time than being in that club. And I think being a part of those activities keeps you out of those. And I think that's important. If you're in high school, go do that club. Join that club. Join that sport. You know, I was on the football team. I sucked at football. I was the punter. I punted a total of 2 times, and then I was put on bench. I quit. But you know, I tried it. It was fun being on that team, low key. It was fun being on that team for like the short period of time that I was on it. But you know, I eventually quit. Not only because I was being put on bench, and I hated being put on bench. You know, my ideology was I'm not going to go to that team, practice with that team in the blazing Virginia heat for 3 hours a day just to have a game come around and me not playing it. And that was my senior year too. So I was like, yeah. And I was infinitely better at track at that time, anyways. Like I was kicking butt. Made it to nationals both times. You know, it was cool. It was cool. The state of the music industry is so weird, but it's also so promising. Because I mentioned this a little bit in the last episode, and it's like every single person wants to make music now, and about 50% of it is so bad. But then all of a sudden, this other 50%, I stumble across this artist with like 20 monthly listeners, and they're making Kendrick Lamar level music. It's like, what the hell? Why is this guy not famous? And then I stumble across some guy with like 1 million monthly listeners that I've never heard of, and he's making terrible music. What's the dealio? There's some artists I've had my eyes on. There's this girl named Lexa Gates. She makes, I'm not gonna say Mac Miller-esque music, but it's Mac Miller-esque music. She's a very talented rapper. Her beats are always so fun to listen to. Favorite song of hers is Stacy's Chips. If you ever go listen to Lexa Gates, listen to Stacy's Chips. Another artist I have my eyes on is Young Fazo. He dropped this song called All in Motion. I think that's what it was called. That song is addicting. There was a point in my life, I'll admit, I would hop in my car, I would go really fast listening to that song during nighttime. And it was just that was such a good time period. You know, every night I would end my night with a really fast drive listening to Young Fazo's All in Motion. That guy has some promise. Lexa Gates, Young Fazo. I'm putting y'all on. Y'all need to tap in. For real. For real, for real. Yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. This is going to be a shorter episode. I plan on releasing it every Sunday, but, you know, personally, this is just like a little journal to get stuff off my mind. Cheers to an episode 2. I really hope y'all are enjoying this series. Since dropping my last episode, my album has gotten 50 streams. I don't know if that's from the episode, but the fact that it happened so shortly after, it's cool. It's cool. So thank you all for the support. I hope you all have a good day. Follow me, subscribe, like the video, share it, listen to my album. Bye-bye, y'all.